Along, and maybe a bit of a surprise for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. The Game 2 starter, Ivy Rosenberry, will get the start here in Game 3 as well, 12-3, and Ivy threw really well in Game 2. She's got a lot of good stuff in the circle.
Exactly. Oklahoma State going back to Ivy Rosenberry. Yesterday, she shut out a very good Texas Tech offense, and she's looking to continue that today. She's going to use her fastball and her drop ball, which she throws in the low 70s, upper 60s, and also mix in a cutter pitch in an off-speed.
Surprise to you, obviously, you're around a little more than most, but little surprised that maybe they went right back to Ivy here in this one, and maybe having to do with the fact that yesterday was a run rule, so she only pitched 5 innings.
Exactly, and we've been kind of seeing in these Oklahoma State series the past few weeks, it'll go Lexi Game 1, Ivy Game 2, and then they'll split the last game, or Lexi will throw the last game, but kind of just mix it up today, go back to Ivy, and try to give Lexi Kilfoyle a little more rest.
Well, obviously, she was fantastic yesterday, as there is a slow roller by Wyckoff, and out at first, and I think they thought it was going to be a foul ball. She kind of gave up on it, but Godwin comes in, puts on the tag, and 1 gone here in the top of the first. A little bit of an indecision by Wyckoff to get down the line, and now Coach Snyder wants to come over, the second-year head coach for Texas Tech, and he wants to get confirmation. Let's take a look at the defense for the Cowgirls across the backs. Talon Edwards back at third after a little injury stint. Bloodworth at short. Davis, the really good freshman for Oklahoma State, at second. Godwin on a tear over there at first. Wong, the transfer, is behind the dish in the outfield. Tim Pillard McDonald and the aforementioned Ivy Rosenberry in the circle for Oklahoma State. So after the confrontation, I should say conversation, wasn't really much of a confrontation, but Coach Snyder still talking to the officials, and there will be 1 gone. And there's a called strike to the left fielder, Ariana Villa, who senior out of San Antonio, Texas, batting .353, 1 for 4 on the series. Started Game 1 in left, did not start in Game 2. And back out there in left here in Game 3. Count even to her, 1-1. Via 8 home runs a year ago, split a lot of time between second base and center field. Now playing out in left field, a business management major. Big cut, strike 2.
I'm interested to see how Texas Tech starts off against Ivy. It seemed like towards the end of the game, they started barreling up a few more balls. They were hitting a lot of balls right at the Oklahoma State defenders, but they were starting to take some better at-bats towards the end of that game.
Looking at Rosenberry yesterday, again, 5 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, threw a total of 88 pitches in that ball game, and gets the start here, and the count even 2-2 to Villa. And there's the first strikeout of the ball game. The second batter, Villa, goes down swinging as we take a look at this one.
Yeah, Ivy Rosenberry just using her high velocity, placing that pitch perfectly on the outside corner, getting a quick strikeout.
We really commented in the early of the first game against Lexi Kilfoyle how the batters of Texas Tech were so disciplined, and from that point on, the adjustments made by Oklahoma State have been really, really impressive.
I agree. Texas Tech started off that first game just really making Lexi Kilfoyle work. She threw a ton of pitches in that first game, through 6 innings, and then it seemed like after Oklahoma State's offense started heating up and putting runs on, their offense kind of deflated a little bit, and they started just creating some easy outs. So looking to see them have a little more competitive at-bats today.
Love, the third baseman, gets ahead in the count here, 2-1. She threw a total of 29 pitches, I believe, in the first 2 innings. 34 more pitches in the third inning. And you're right. Once Oklahoma State put some points on the board, some runs across, then all of a sudden the pitching became very dominant by Lexi Kilfoyle the rest of the way. Texas Tech has only been run ruled twice on the year coming into this series. Oklahoma State's been able to do that in back-to-back run rule fashion wins. And there's a walk to Riley Love. So there's a disciplined AB, and Love will be at first. This team has been in 12 run rule games this year. Texas Tech is 8-4 in those run rule games. Got run ruled by Baylor and got run ruled by Oklahoma. And, of course, now a couple of times by Oklahoma State. Have only been shut out a couple of times coming into the series. Now 3 on the year. As that one's fouled in the dirt, and Love will have to stay at first. So give Oklahoma State credit. This is a very good Texas Tech team, and the Cowgirls coming off a series loss to Iowa State in Ames last weekend. How do you respond? They have responded exceptionally well here in Stillwater in this series. Lots of sunshine in Stillwater. Deceptively warm-looking day, though. Actually, temperatures in the mid-60s as that one is a slow roller back to Rosenberry. Flips over to Godwin, and we're done here in the top of the first inning. The Cowgirls to the bats in the home half of 1 here in Stillwater right after this. Here's how they will bat it around. Jillian Pillard, the center fielder. Talon Edwards, the third baseman, followed by Wong, who's having an outstanding year. The transfer for Oklahoma State. Carly Godwin is having an incredible year as a freshman. Davis, Tim, Wart, McDonald, and the shortstop, Megan Bloodworth. You see the numbers there for Carly Godwin. And in the circle is a young lady that has not had a ton of innings pitched. 22 for Rancy Willis. She's 3-0, though. She's undefeated on the season.
Yeah, Willis had a really good outing last weekend on Sunday against Kansas. She led them to the win, only giving up 2 runs. She's going to focus on spinning the ball, spotting it away to both lefty and righty batters, and really emphasize on hitting the corners but not giving up any free passes.
First strike. And the 0-1, 1-1. Last weekend, Kansas was the opponent for Texas Tech, and the Red Raiders beat Kansas 6-5. They lost in game 2, 15-12 in 8 innings, and then won the third game 4-2 as that one's fouled back. Strike 2. But in that second game, 27 runs scored, 36 hits between the two teams. Each team had 18 hits in that game. It was a wild affair. The wind is always a factor in Lubbock, Texas, so it's been a factor this weekend here, but both teams very, very used to that being a part of the game. More so in Lubbock, Texas than here, but the flag blowing in and partially left to right, which is a little opposite of what we've seen so far this weekend. We've seen some shots at the wind. Even the wind blowing in couldn't stop. 5 home runs on the weekend by Oklahoma State, and they have used a lot of power, and they've actually manufactured some runs as well. They've moved runners over, got them in scoring position, created some sac fly opportunities. Lots of sac bunts. Good stuff so far, and there's a good AB to start for Oklahoma State as Jillian draws the walk.
Jillian Poulard doing exactly what the leadoff batter is supposed to do. She saw so many pitches in that at-bat, started off behind 1-2, and then was able to work the count back and start off with a walk. 6-pitch walk for Pollard, and she's at first, and that'll bring up the third baseman, and Talon Edwards, another speedy runner, and she will lay down the sac bunt, and there's exactly what we were talking about earlier, is that the Cowgirls have been able to do that, and they've done that very well this weekend. Yeah, anytime that the leadoff batter gets on, it's so smart to just sacrifice them over right away, get a good runner in scoring position, especially when you have Caroline Wong and Carly Godwin coming up. Gives them a really good opportunity to get an RBI and a run early in the game. 3
for 6, a couple of runs scored, and again has been a very productive addition for Oklahoma State. Young lady started 200-plus games at Liberty, transferred in, and finishing up her career as an Oklahoma State Cowgirl has made the most of it. There's a called strike. 1-1 the count. And 1 gone after the sac bunt, and Pollard at second. And the one thing you don't want if you're Texas Tech, you don't want to have Willis have that pressure immediately if you give up run production right here. So you want to hold Oklahoma State at bay as long as you can and allow her to pitch a little freer. Playing pretty much straight away against Wong. The 1-2 way off the plate past the catcher, and that'll let Pillard move up to third. Pillard, the McNeese State transfer. Good mix of youth, experienced players. Kids started at Oklahoma State and transfers as that one is hit over the first baseman foul. Wyckoff tried to retreat. Jennings tried to track it down as well, but that one drifted well off the line into foul territory. So the count 2-2 here to Wong. And Kenny Gajewski uses the cowgirl way a lot in his conversations as we see the 2-2. Off the plate, 3-2. REP, rep, relentless, excellent, passionate. It takes kids that have been here to understand that, to pass it on to young ladies that are coming into the program. And he's done a good job of that, letting that continue to filter over the last several years. Really hadn't defined rep until about 2 years ago. And what really the cowgirl way is all about is that's going to be taken by the, nope, yes, it is. Oh my goodness, what a play by Orick. She and Jennings collided, and she barehands it and is able to pull that in. That's a heck of a play by Orick on the concentration.
Wow, I think this ball was hit so high up in the air. I'm sure the wind, was pushing it over a little bit, and the shortstop just, she had it, didn't have it, and then was able to barehand it and bring it in. Well, what a play.
When she called for it, she was 6 feet left of the second base bag. By the time she got to it, Jennings really probably should have had it, but she'd already called for it, and Jennings tried to back away, and she's a good 2-3 feet on the right side of the bag. So heck of a play by Orick, and that's one they needed to try to hold this one in check early on. But rep, it's something that is talked about a lot here, and it's something that trickles down from class to class.
Exactly, and those three words, relentless, excellence, and passion, those were words that former players of the Oklahoma State program, helped contribute to and helped Coach G and his staff form the standards that our team follows every year and just help, set that culture.
And culture's a big used word, but it works. There's another pass ball, and that's going to score a run for Oklahoma State. Not what Texas Tech wanted, exactly what Oklahoma State wanted. And, I think that result is a result of Carly Godwin being at the plate. 3 home runs on the season. You don't want to pitch to her, so she pitched her up and away and too far up and away for Kreitz to be able to bring it in, and that scores a run for Oklahoma State. Well, as you said, you and I were talking about whether or not you really want to pitch to Carly Godwin, and it would appear Willis is willing to right here as she catches the corner. It's 2-2.
Yeah, definitely, like you said, looks like they're trying to keep that ball on the outer half of the plate, not going to give her anything on the inner half that she can drive over left field.
Not going to let her pull anything, and that one misses. Tell you what, with a little bit of that wind, though, and her power, if she wants to take one, if the pitch takes her that way, she's got the power to go opposite direction as well. I just believe if you're a pitcher for Texas Tech today, do not put one right over the plate. And she stays alive with that one. Again, try to pitch her off the plate, and good job of Godwin to go get it. Carly Godwin had 5 RBI in game 2. She was really, really good in that game. And Carly Godwin had 1 RBI in game 1, and then she's got a base hit here. Just powered that one into left, and she didn't have the same power to get it out of the yard, but she still used a lot of power to even find a way to pull that to the left side. Take a look at the defense here for Texas Tech. Love, Orick, Jennings, and Wyckoff around the backs. Villa, Elder, and Armijo in the outfield. Kreitz behind the plate, and Rancy Willis getting the start in the circle for Texas Tech. 2 gone here in the bottom of the first. And a quick strike to Rosie Davis, the second baseman. You know, that's the problem, and you talked about this the other day. You can be careful with Carly, but all that does is set you up with Rosie Davis, who's also a very good hitter. Power, small ball, she can do it all too.
Exactly, and there's so many players in the Oklahoma State lineup protecting Carly Godwin and Caroline Wong, and even like Michaela Wark, players with so much power. You don't want to put them on because the next girl in line can do the same thing.
We have seen it over and over, and this Cowgirl team has been phenomenal in run production as that one is off the plate. Cowgirls have tallied 265 RBI in the season, which sits 9th on the single season list, 2 RBI away from moving into 8th on that list, and 17 away from moving into a tie for 7th. So this has been an offense that has put up a lot of RBI respectively, or in relation to what they've done in years past. And as you said, that permeates all the way up and down that lineup. 9-hole hitter Bloodworth hit a home run in the first game off the foul pole. 2-2 off the plate, 3-2. Crowd wanted it, didn't get it. The Texas Tech crowd that has made that way, their way up from Lubbock, Texas anyway, wanted it. Every kid in the Cowgirl lineup has hit a home run. Every kid in the Cowgirl lineup has hit at least 3 home runs on the season. I don't know what that would be through this point in the season in years past, but I bet you there's not been many years where every single kid in the lineup has hit a minimum of 3 home runs.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, I would say, to have every single person in the lineup getting some power numbers. You know, usually there are a couple players in the lineup who focus on, you know, being high average, just singles hitters, but anybody on this roster can take it yard.
Great AB by Rosie Davis coming in behind Carly Godwin. And again, they protected, trying to be careful, I should say, there. But the problem is now you come with Claire Tim. And Claire Tim hit a 3-run shot that gave the Cowgirls the lead in game 1. Buena Park, sophomore, batting .333, 3 for 6, had the double, the home run, 3 RBIs. And so, again, now you're in a situation where you've got to be very careful again. But if you're too careful, you can walk the bases loaded. And you don't want to do that either.
No, of course not. And Claire Tim is just one of those players who has been really heating up lately. I think there were a couple of games a few weeks ago where she was struggling a little bit, but she's right back to her normal self, swinging at good pitches, hitting, you know, to the opposite field, pulling balls over to into right, and just doing what she does.
Rancy Willis has already thrown 30 pitches on the game. And, I mean, that's a large count for 1 inning. Cowgirls have 1 hit, 1 run. And a 2-1 count here to Claire Tim.
And I think something really important for the Texas Tech pitching staff in this game is really trying to limit those free passes. I know Coach Snyder mentioned that they don't want to give Oklahoma State any free base runners, and they've done that the past 2 games. They've given up 11 walks coming into this game, and then now 2 on the day already. So they're really just going to have to try and hit the corners of the zone and keep Oklahoma State off the bases.
Cricht struggling to pull that one in, and in the dirt. That allows both runners to advance. And here we go again. Tim, 2 runners in scoring position. Wind blowing left to right. She certainly got the power, and this time she gets underneath it, though, and that's going to allow Elder to come in mid-center field and is able to get the 3rd out. So 1 run does score. The Cowgirls strand a couple. The Cowgirls have a 1-0 lead in Stillwater. Ben for Texas Tech. Last year they set a record for home runs in a single season, and he's selling a vision that kids are buying into. The class that will be coming in next season is the 2nd ranked in the nation, second only to Oklahoma, according to Extra Inning Softball. 7 signees, 7 of the 7 signees, I should say, 6 in the top 50, all ranked in top 20 at their position. That is a phenomenal job of recruiting. And again, he's selling the vision, right? Texas Tech isn't there yet, but to have that kind of a class coming in, he's obviously done a very good job to accumulate that much talent.
Yeah, Coach Snyder just keeps elevating this program, it seems like, every year. And looking at the lineup today, there are a ton of seniors that are going to be gone next year. So to bring in such a talented freshman class is going to be really important in keeping Texas Tech on the rise in the coming years.
Reagan Jennings 1 for 4 in the out in the series from Atascocita, Texas. And there's one chopped in the dirt, foul. And the count will go to 2-1 here. Texas Tech scored 3 runs. The first 3 runs of this series had a 3-0 lead in game 1, have not scored a run since. And Oklahoma State has obviously been able to put up a ton of runs since that point in this series. And Texas Tech was so disciplined at the plate the first 3-4 innings against Lexi Kilfoyle. And I think you're right. Once that run support changed, as there's a great job by Rosie Davis showing off the gun to get it over to first in time. But once Oklahoma State showed that run support, Lexi really calmed down, and the pitching's been phenomenal for Oklahoma State since.
Yeah, I have to imagine as a pitcher, once your offense gets going, you just have to feel at ease out there in the circle, knowing that your offense has your back and you can kind of, give up some pitches that are a little bit more on the plate and not have to worry about getting behind in the game.
Abby Orrick, the shortstop, has one go off the knob of her bat for a foul, batting .316, 1 for 4 in the series. Just unfortunate right there. She tried to back out, and the knob of the bat caught it. So 0-1 count here. Big swing, 0-2. Lexi Kilfoyle, Ivy Rosenberry is left off picked up right where she left off in game 2. She's been dishing here so far in this one. Orrick 0-2, nobody on, 1 gone. A throwaway pitch there, but that goes that velocity. Even though that's off the plate, it's coming in so quickly, and you've talked about her velocity. It's hard to stay off of that because you just never know. She is hitting that 70-mile-an-hour mark, and she can really throw with great speed. Another example there. So foul tip into the glove for another strikeout, the second of the ball game for Rosenberry.
Ivy just placing these pitches perfectly on that outer half and kind of just blowing it by these batters. Like you said, that high velocity, it's so difficult as a batter when the pitcher can bring it in the 70s. You have to make decisions so quickly, and it just puts more pressure on you as a hitter to swing at good pitches. And so that's what makes Ivy Rosenberry so effective.
Rosenberry didn't see the call / what was on the wrist, didn't coincide, so she backs off and gets clarification from the dugout. And looking in there as Carson Armijo, the senior out of Plano, Texas, batting .204 and 1 for 2 in the series. We'll try to get Texas Tech jump started here offensively. There's a called strike, 0-2. Carrie Everly has obviously done a fantastic job, not only in helping develop and getting that trust, but the games that she calls, she has done a good job. Obviously, you got to go execute it, but you got to call the right pitches as well, and she's done that.
Yeah, 100%. We've talked a little bit about her strategy going into these games is she pitches to her pitcher's strength. So she's going to let her pitchers throw what they're good at and then kind of wait and see how the other hitters are planning on attacking her and adjust from there.
They have done well today as well. 3 strikeouts, 2 in a row to retire the side, and we're through the top half of the second inning. The home half straight ahead. This is big. Tripled her home run production in the first 3 years of her career. She had 4. Now she's got 12 this year. I mean, just incredible what she's been able to do.
Exactly. Coach Snyder was so impressed with her development in this last season. He said that she's really getting good at hunting pitches and understanding how to hit spin, drop ball spin, up ball spin, understanding how to hit both of those different pitches, and just coming into the box with a plan has allowed her to really grow as a hitter this season.
Of the 23 home runs, she has over half of them for Texas Tech. She's got 12 of their 23. And has done a fantastic job in helping turn the program around. Again, they would love to turn this series around. Oklahoma State with the early 1-0 lead coming off of a wild pitch. Actually allowed the runner to move up a couple of times in that progression. And that led to a 1-0 lead for the Cowgirls here in the bottom of the second. Cowgirls only have one hit so far, but they do have some walks on the day, and that is the third walk issued so far in this ball game. Michaela Wark is now at first.
Michaela Wark has just been so patient this series. Her 6th walk of the series has not even registered an at-bat so far, and just doing a really good job of being patient and doing whatever it takes to get on base for her team. You know, Michaela Wark has so much power, and I know all she wants to do up there is hack, and just being so patient, waiting for a good pitch. She's being a team player.
So as a hitter, that's a great point, because you want to hit on, right? But the point is to get on. So hitting on versus getting on, if you can walk as many times as you see Tia Warsup out of Northampton, England, will step in for Oklahoma State as a pinch runner, to go up there and to accept that and just get on the bags and then allow a pinch runner to come in with some speed. I mean, she's doing her job. It's just not probably the way she would really like to do it. As a hitter, you were a good hitter. How hard was it for you to not want to try to stay in that box and find a way to hit your way on?
It definitely gets frustrating at times, especially when you've just been getting walked and you feel good and you want to swing. You're not getting anything good. So just all a part of being selfless and doing what you can, like you said, to get on base and start to get some runs going. She's a big reason why Oklahoma State has had so many runs this series so far, just getting on base.
No doubt, as Warsup tried to get to second off of a sac bunt, McDonald fouled it up and away, so the count 0-2. Now she'll be trying to lay down a bunt here, and she takes ball 1. 1-2 the count here to Lexi McDonald, the right fielder. Cowgirls again trying to manufacture a run here in the bottom of the second. Got speed at first with Warsup. McDonald spins that one foul and near the warning track, but in foul territory. So she'll have to come back again here. Going back to Warsup, born in England but moved to the United States at the age of 4. The number 14 recruit in extra inning softball, Elite 100. Helped Great Britain to have wins over the Chinese Taipei, Australia, and Ireland in the 2023 World Cup pool play as she tries to steal second. And we've got obstruction. She would have been out, but there is an obstruction call. And we've seen that be a factor in the Big 12 already this week. As we take another look at this one, tell us what you see.
Wow. Well, first of all, just a great scoop there by the catcher, Kreitz, and just a perfect throw. And looking at the shortstop covering, looks like her foot is in that base path when she doesn't have possession of the ball. So I guess that is obstruction technically, but she would have been hosed either way. So it's like you don't want to see that call, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you would have liked to have gotten a better jump. Give them credit, because Warsup is very, very good. And you mentioned Kreitz. Kreitz has been really good for them. She has been very good defensively. And I thought we were going to get a coach's review, but instead, an official review. Now Coach Snyder is going to call for that. Kreitz, by the way, that's not by accident. She led the Big 12 throwing out 11 potential base stealers a year ago as a freshman. So she's got a cannon back there. She struggled a little bit with some of the wild pitches and a pass ball or two through the series, but she's got a cannon, and, man, she proved it right there. She, as you said, Warsup hosed is the right way. She was out by about 3 feet.
Absolutely, and Tia Warsup being so fast, and also that pitch being in the dirt. Kreitz had to scoop that ball outside of her body, come all the way across, and then make the throw down to second. And it was just perfect on-the-money throw.
Let's take a look at it again here and again. But you cannot, the rule is so sensitive. It's kind of like leaving early. You cannot block the plate, and she's clearly in front of it without the ball, right? That foot is in front, and that's the rule, right? Just you can't be in front of the bag with any part of your body part if you don't have the ball.
Yes.
So that's what it is, and I don't think there's any doubt that's the right call. Now, did it affect her being safe or not? No, but it's more of a safety issue as well. And so it is the rule, and Kitty Gajewski said of several rules this year, obstruction is right, she is safe. That is the official ruling. Kitty Gajewski said, I don't like a lot of the rules either, but they are the rules. just tell me what the rules are, and that's what we're going to play by. And I got to be honest, they have played that very, very well. You've talked about some of the young ladies on that coaching staff, some of the younger GAs and younger other coaches. They are glued to leaving early, and they have picked that up a lot over the course of this season.
Yeah, it's been definitely a big factor in a lot of games throughout college softball this year.
No doubt it has, and there's going to be a factor right there as Lexi McDonald sent one into right center. It's a double. It's an RBI double, and the Cowgirls have doubled up their run total. They're now at 2.
Lexi McDonald, another player who's just been on fire this series, and she takes this ball low in the zone, is able to open up, get around it, and drive it into right center.
You and I have talked about this. I know the wind's still been blowing in, but they seem to play the wind as if it's really going to hold a lot of things up. I mean, Elder was in, and that ball easily got over the top of her. They have played in most of the day, or most of the weekend, in center.
That's a really good point. I think, you know, we have seen their outfield be in so many times this series and kind of gotten beat over their heads. So it's an interesting, you know, thought. Maybe they're trying to play in and try to get the runner at second going home on a ground ball to the outfield, but they have gotten beat over their heads a few times.
Megan Bloodworth out of Cordell, Georgia, born in Cordell and transferred from Alabama. 191 on the season, 1 for 1 in this series, and had that home run off of the foul pole in the series, as well as she didn't get the opportunity to enjoy the home run trot. They thought it was a live ball. She was held at third. They went and reviewed it and realized it did hit the foul pole first. She got to finish off the trot, but it was a little bit of an anticlimactic delayed home run trot as she hits that one foul down the third base side. And she's behind in the count 0-2. Again, Bloodworth, of all the Cowgirls in the lineup, the fewest home runs on the season, she's got 4. Lexi McDonald has 3. So I apologize. Bloodworth is in that list with 4, and truly amazing just how much power all the way through this lineup Oklahoma State has. As you said, there's nowhere you got to protect. I mean, all the way along, there's somebody being protected. You can't protect anybody because that next kid has the ability to hit a home run. And there's a big swing and a miss right there for Bloodworth. Got fooled on that one, though. That's a good pitch there by Willis.
Exactly. Looked like Willis kind of took a little something off this pitch and just slowed it down a little bit and threw Megan Bloodworth off balance. She was competing very well, fouling off pitches left and right, and she kind of had to do a little bit of a speed mix-up in order to get her out.
So 1 gone, 1 on, 1 run across for the Cowgirls here in the bottom of the second. Brings up Jillian Pillard, who walked her first time up. That was the first strikeout of the ball game for Willis so far. As you see, Pillard's numbers, 288 on the season. Again, drew that walk and was able to score in the first. One-0 misses low and away. 2-0. 2 hits on the day for Oklahoma State. Cowgirls on the weekend had 9 hits in game 2. Cowgirls had 11 hits in game 1. 20 hits plus the 2, now to 22 hits on the weekend. Game planning for a series like this, do you have a goal? Do you have a number that the coaches put out there and say, okay, if we can manage 10 hits per game, 30 hits for the series, what's that number usually look like?
I wouldn't say that the teams usually aim for a certain number of hits because, you know, there can be games when you only have 5 hits, but you can put up a ton of runs just because of, you know, walks and errors and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say they really aim for a specific number, but both of them, I'm sure, are thinking the more, the better.
For sure. You obviously don't want to leave a lot of people stranded either, so hits don't necessarily lead to runs, but you need base runners, and the Cowgirls have had plenty of those several different ways. And there's that split hand grip again for Pillard. Thought she had ball 4. It's a called strike. 3-2 now, the count full to her.
And looking at those walks, too, both of the runs that have scored today so far have been because of a walk. So Texas Tech pitching staff really just needs to command the zone a bit better.
That one is going to be ripped into right field, a bit bobbled, and a delayed throw, and Pollard makes the most of it in there for an RBI, and she is safe at second.
Great swing by Jillian Poulard to just go up and get this pitch, drive it into right field, and I love the aggressiveness off the bobble in right field by Armijo. She just takes off and gets herself over to second base.
Great job for sure. And again, Jillian Pollard realized that they were going to hit the cut, and she took off, and she gets to second. So I believe we're going to call that a double. And okay, it is a single, and that's what I thought it might have been when I first saw it. But so it is going to be a single with an advance on the throw because she did bobble it. But either way, great job, and just a great job by the, as you mentioned, Lexi McDonald being aggressive, rounding third and finding a way to get home.
Yeah, yesterday we saw so many great examples of Oklahoma State running the bases extremely well. They were being so aggressive and putting a lot of pressure on the Red Raiders defense.
Continuing to do that today with 2 runs here. Runner now at second in scoring position, only 1 gone. And that brings up Talon Edwards. She had the sac bunt her first time up. Batting .319. Another speedster for Oklahoma State. Gets under that one, flares it into left, and drifting back is Orick to get the out. Out number 2. That brings up trouble for most teams. Caroline Wong, the catcher, popped out to short her first time up, but she can add to the totals in a hurry. Terrific power, batting in that 3 spot for Oklahoma State. Takes ball 1. Cowgirls have managed 3 hits so far. Texas Tech looking for their first. And that's ball 2. Caroline Wong looking back for confirmation and just making sure, and it was. Willis trying to hold her team in it right now. Ball knocked down by Kreitz, and the runner will stay. No activity in the bullpen right now for Texas Tech. That's hit into center. Coming on is Elder. Almost overran at that time. Backed up, got her hands up, and was able to make the play. So the Cowgirls put 2 more across at the bottom of the second. They've got a 3-0 lead here in Stillwater. As we continue with Big 12 now. There's again Godwin with 12. That's tied for 14 and best ever as a freshman for Oklahoma State. So again, a lot of great production right there.
Carly Godwin and Caroline Wong, obviously a huge impact on the offense this season, quickly climbing up that list, and there's still plenty of games left this season, so I'm excited to see where they end up at the end of the year.
So the Cowgirls made a little bit of a change in the outfield. Pollard will stay at center. Worsup will go to left, and Claire Tim will go to right field. Coming in for Lexi McDonald. And leading things off here for the, you get his chance to see Tim out there now in right field. She can play left, right. She's been all over in the outfield. She's played in the center field a lot too. So very versatile player out there for Oklahoma State. And trying to get things going offensively is the catcher, Kennedy Kreitz, the senior. Batting .325, 1 for 3 for the series. They still have not batted across through their order yet here in the top of the third. And there's a ball. That's ball 3. 3-1 the count now to Kreitz. Again, Kreitz has a cannon behind the plate. And count will go full with that foul ball. Lots of energy in the Cowgirl dugout right now, so it would seem.
And looking out at the defense, it looks like the outfield has shifted way over, kind of towards like an opposite field approach for this batter, Kreitz. And I think a big reason for that is just thinking about Ivy Rosenberry with her velocity. A lot of players tend to shoot balls opposite way just because it's really tough to get open and around on balls on Ivy because she throws so hard. So the outfield shifted over, betting that she's going to hit it into right center.
Yeah, and she kind of played against the odds right there as Worsup able to track it down quickly, and the Cowgirls do cut it off and hold that to a single. You know, it's a great point because even if she does pitch inside, it's still hard. Batters are late to that ball, so it's going to go right. The wind's blowing right today, so I think they played the averages there. But give Kreitz credit. She kind of went against the odds there and was able to pull it into left.
Exactly. Kreitz hit that ball in the perfect spot in that gap. And Tia Worsup, even though that ball was more towards center, it seemed like Tia Worsup in left field was the one that fielded that and brought it in. But a great piece of hitting there by Kennedy Kreitz.
Kennedy Kreitz is at first, but they will have a pinch runner. And I'm going to find out who that young lady is. Hard to see the number 36, maybe. Gabby Rawls, I believe that is who that is. It is. So Rawls will be pinch running at first. And that brings up the designated player, Maddie Wright. As to pull out the wristband to find out what she's supposed to be doing there. Maddie Wright, also a pitcher, but hits well, and she hits that one, possibly double play. She gets it. The Cowgirls turn the 5-4-3 all the way around, a double play, and a great effort there by Oklahoma State.
Yeah, what a way to pick up your pitcher after giving up a base hit. Talon Edwards just perfectly fields that ball. Just great throws all around by the Oklahoma State defense. And Rosie Davis, I love how she caught that. Didn't even step, didn't waste the time to take a step off the bag. She just quickly turns and fires it over to first to get the out.
You know, we talk about Rosie Davis, and again, she's got good offense, but her defense is becoming more and more. What's impressive about her is just what you said. It's not just the fact that she can get to the ball, she fields it well. Her arm strength for a freshman is really good.
Her arm is outstanding, and at the beginning of the season, Coach G was thinking that Rosie Davis was going to be the shortstop this year because she does have such a strong arm, but it ended up working out and getting it over at second base. She's been amazing, made a really good transition over there.
So 2 gone, and Kaylee Wyckoff, who grounded out the first baseman, will be, as you see, Rosie. And, you know, the other thing, too, is instinctual. She was at second, ready for that, to receive that throw from Edwards immediately. And so she has been very good defensively and offensively as Wyckoff takes strike 2. Wyckoff has been very good also. Coming into this series, she has been really good and reached base safely in 20 straight games coming into the series, but Cowgirls have done a good job against her. The reigning Big 12 Freshman of the Year. That one is hit into center, and Pollard will have to just let it one hop to her for the single. So a couple of singles here in the third. The double play helped that an awful lot before. But now a runner at first again with Wyckoff ripping one right back up to Pollard in center.
Yeah, another great at-bat there by Wyckoff. Just not swinging out of the zone, waiting for a pitch that she could drive, and she got it on that last one. Just took it right out to center field.
Ariana Villa struck out her first time up. The left fielder. Texas Tech trying to put some runs up and make a game of this, and we talked about it before. They don't need all 3 runs right now. They need 1 run, 2 runs. Obviously, if you could get 3, you'd be glad to have it, but just chip away and stay in the thing, because if Oklahoma State keeps scoring every inning, you look up and then that deficit becomes insurmountable. Lexi Kilfoyle up to, I should try that again. Ivy Rosenberry up to 49 pitches on the day. There's a foul tip off of Wong, and may have caught the umpire as well. Count 2-2. Cowgirls do have a little action in the bullpen. That may be just bullpen action, not real anticipation. Rosenberry's done a great job. No reason for her to come out as of yet. Rosenberry has recorded 3 strikeouts, given up 1 walk, 2 hits now, both singles in this inning. Villa, the 2-2, fouled out of play.
Looking at Ariana Villa, who's been such a good hitter for Texas Tech, looking at her swing, when she loads and strides, she kind of strides back, kind of away from the plate. So I would imagine that Ivy Rosenberry is going to try to hit the outside corner.
And fouls that one down the third base side. Mentioned Villa had 8 home runs a year ago. Villa's got 7 home runs this year. Still plenty of season to equal that and surpass last year's total. That one runs off the plate for a full count, 3-2. Good battle here between Ariana Villa, the left fielder, and Ivy Rosenberry, and she wins it with a walk. That's the second walk of the ball game for Rosenberry, and that'll bring out a visit from the pitching coach for Oklahoma State. Carrie Eberly will visit with Rosenberry and Wong in the circle.
The hitters in this inning have just been way better at plate discipline, and they're just making Ivy Rosenberry work and doing what they can, piecing together a couple of singles, and they're putting some pressure on the defense.
Now we see Kyra Aycock is up pitching, also out there.
That's Katie Coots, another talented freshman on the pitching staff.
Yep, so there you see both of those two. And either one may be coming in. Kyra has been a midweek starter at times this year. She's pitched some of the weekends as well. Lexi Kilfoyle certainly the ace, but Ivy Rosenberry has been such a good addition to the starting lineup this season for Oklahoma State. Talking about all that velocity. We've been talking about Riley Love. First at bat drill walk, batting .327. She could help her team out immensely here as that one is hit to Bloodworth. Throw to first. And the Cowgirls out of a little bit of trouble here in the top half of the third. So the Cowgirls will maintain a 3-run lead here in Stillwater. Back on the top 10. Oklahoma State's right where they want to be. Number 6 in the country. They've already beaten Texas 2 out of 3. Will get an opportunity against Oklahoma. Duke lost a doubleheader to unranked West Virginia already this weekend. Tennessee has lost to LSU, and that ballgame's tied 0-0 at the top of the 4th. And Stanford, who is ranked 5th, lost to UCLA and lost 2 to UCLA. So the rankings, the Cowgirls if they can hold on to win this, they may find themselves in the top 3 or 4, depending on how the rest of the weekend plays out. But you'd love the fact that the teams ahead of you, too, are teams that you're going to get a chance to face in Oklahoma, and you've already, as I said, beaten Texas. So the schedule sets up well. Oklahoma State's winning percentage right now setting up well for them to move up in the rankings.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how things shift a little bit after this weekend with those upsets.
Lots of upsets, some good games as well. There's another ball against Mike Crike. She's having a hard time squeezing it. I don't know if she's misreading the pitch or just not seeing it all the way in with the glare, but either way, it is nobody on, no harm done. 2-1 here for the Cowgirls. Carly Godwin, a single on the day, pitcher outside, wise decision. Count 3-1. So 3-1 with nobody out. And Godwin draws a walk. It's a good job by Carly Godwin, knowing they're going to be careful and just be patient, and she certainly was.
Yeah, the pitcher definitely not wanting to leave anything over the heart of the plate. It's not a bad idea to put her on and try to get Rosie Davis, even though she's, you know, super amazing competitive hitter as well.
Cowgirls will use their speed. You know, it's one thing, again, we've talked about this before, but, you know, you think, oh, pinch runner, but that's just a way to get a youngster, somebody who's not getting a lot of time onto the field, as they will get in Hayden Sokolowski. And this is just an opportunity. Kid does it right. That's not the way Kenny Gajewski uses his pinch runners. He uses them for speed and manufacturing runs. Got big hitters get on. Sometimes you want to use pinch runners, and he does that. And they have been effective in adding to the run total. The pinch running this year has been really good and effective, and a big part of the victories the Cowgirls have had.
Absolutely. It's such a luxury for Coach G to have athletes like Hayden Sokolowski, Tia Warsip on the bench to just come in and give them some speed, put some pressure on the defense, and possibly steal some bags and get a lot more runs.
Not sure why Jennings didn't try to apply the tag there. The throw was there. I'm telling you, Kreitz has got a cannon. And she threw that behind Sokolowski, and it was there, but Jennings didn't put down the tag, or might have had her. And now, the umpire making sure that the Texas Tech defense has got the right call. Now, I'm not sure what he was doing there, to be quite honest. Pitch clock violation on. So, one way or the other, the count is 1-1, now 1-2 as it's fouled out of play. And the count will go to 1-2 with one on, nobody out for the Cowgirls here in the bottom of the three. They've scored in every inning so far. One run in the first, a couple in the second to get to that 3-0 lead. Ball two. Rosie Davis drew a walk. We talked about it. Jillian Pillard walked in the first inning, scored. Michaela Wark walked in the second inning and scored. Carly Godwin has walked now with the pinch runner Sokolowski at first, and we'll wait the outcome of that one. But those have all come around to be a problem eventually for Willis and Texas Tech as the count's full here to Davis. Inside, ball four. So that is the fourth walk issued for Rancy Willis on the day. Check that again. That's her fifth walk issued. And got to bring up Claire Tim with runners at first and second on a pass ball / wild pitch. Don't recall exactly what it was scored, but runners moved up to second and third last time she was at the plate. You know, with home run power on the season, Claire Tim, 6 home runs this season. We've seen one already this series. Cowgirls doubled their total in the second. Scored one in the first, got 2 runs in the second. Up to 3. They could double it again with one swing by Tim.
The Oklahoma State offense in this series has not held back at all and not given the Texas Tech pitchers or defense an easy inning so far. I think this whole series, they have just been consistently getting runners on base every single inning.
You know, when we go back, it was not the best weekend in Ames, Iowa, and I think there was a little frustration with Coach Shippey, the new first-year hitting coach, and certainly, you know, just some of the results, and everybody kind of went back to the drawing board. And, you know, I don't know if it's gotten in the cages more or if the approach has changed or what's happened, but it is obvious this weekend is significantly different than it was a week ago.
100%. And like we've talked about a little bit, just kind of relaxing at the plate, I would say, is the biggest thing, and just having that confidence back. You know, they played wiffle ball before that game on Sunday against Iowa State when they put up 10 runs just to kind of free everybody up and loosen things up. And it's definitely paid off. Everyone feels, I think, a little bit more reset now coming into this series.
Certainly has looked that way, and in a couple of things, just trying to loosen everybody up, including that wiffle ball game, which you referred to. And there's 3 straight walks. 3 batters, 3 walks for Oklahoma State, and the bases are loaded for the designated player. So for Rancy Willis, now 6 walks issued, and that's going to bring out another visit. And my guess, maybe a pitching change for Texas Tech. So Rancy Willis pitched through 2 innings, and we'll have to give way to Maddie Wright. He's kept the game close. It'll be up to Maddie Wright and Texas Tech for the Cowgirls, and for Texas Tech to hang in. Game 2 went 1 2/3 and gave up a total of 5 hits and 8 runs to Oklahoma State. But those are the numbers we've seen for her on the season so far.
And Maddie Wright is going to come in the low 60s to mid 60s. She throws to all 4 quadrants of the zone, mainly trying to spin the ball and spot it on the corners.
Yeah, the Cowgirls really got to her. Of the 8 runs allowed, 7 were earned, had a couple of walks, only 1 strikeout. So the Cowgirls got 5 hits with 10 at-bats versus Maddie Wright in the second game of the series. But she comes out, throws a strike there to Michaela Wark. Has to. There's nowhere to put her. Bases are loaded.
Now, I'm sure Michaela Wark will get a chance to swing in this at-bat, knowing that the bases are loaded and coming into this situation with no outs.
And there it is right there. Finally, she gets a 1. It's a single, and it's going to be a 2 RBI single. Maybe they'll credit her with a double, but that's what she's been waiting on. You talked about the walks and the walks and the walks. They couldn't walk her this time. This time she ripped one into left center.
Finally, Michaela Wark gets a pitch she can handle down the middle of the plate and just gets her bat down and around it, able to drive it into left center. A big hit for her, a big at-bat, able to bring in 2 runs. Just great job, Michaela Wark.
No doubt about it. Now the Cowgirls have a 5-0 lead, and Kenny Gajewski applauding his designated player's effort, and that brings up Lexi McDonald, who was in right field, stays in to bat. And she had a double her last time up. Runners at second and third. Again, the Cowgirls continue to score in every inning, and that's been a huge part of their MO in the series. That one low. 1-1. Cowgirls scored in every single inning of game 2. Keeping in mind we only went through the top of the 5th. So they scored in every single inning in the 4th. They did not score in the first 2 innings in game 1, but they scored in the next 4 innings there. So the Cowgirls have scored in 4, 8, 11 consecutive innings. That is, that's offensive.
Exactly, and Coach Shippey and Coach G talk a lot about suffocating the opposing defense, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're not letting up, putting runs on the board every single inning.
That one is going to be hit to center, and Elder's there. The Cowgirls will tag it up, and they will score. They throw behind the run. Great job there by Elder. Cowgirls try to double tag. They threw behind her, but the run will come across, and the Cowgirls do have another run on the board.
Yeah, this is a really smart play by the center fielder, Elder. She knows that she's too deep to throw out Claire Tim, tagging from third, but she knows that she can get it over to third base and get Michaela Wark out. So great job there. Really heads-up play by the center fielder.
So they did get 2 out of that, double the Cowgirls up, but the Cowgirls do get another run. They lead at 6-0. Bases are clear for Megan Bloodworth. 2 outs, takes a strike there, 0-1 now, and Kenny Gajewski encouraging his shortstop to continue this rally here for Oklahoma State. That one's in the dirt. Maddie Wright skips that one in. Cowgirls scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 now in the third. 11 consecutive innings of run production by Oklahoma State. That one misses outside. And of those 11, only 4 of them were 1 run. So 7 of the 11 consecutive innings scored were multiple runs. There's a hit into left and a single for Bloodworth. And she does keep the Cowgirls going here in the bottom of the 3rd. That's a good AB for Megan Bloodworth.
Megan Bloodworth has been seeing the ball really well her last few at-bats, and Maddie Wright tries to go in on her, try to jam her up a little bit, but she does just enough and pushes it out into left field. Get herself a single.
That'll bring up the center fielder for the Cowgirls, and she takes strike 1. Ballard walked and singled, but on base both times. Her plate appearances so far today. And the off speed in there for strike 2. Cowgirls looking for their 16th win in conference. Texas Tech looking for their 7th. In the dirt, runner will move. Bloodworth in scoring position for Oklahoma State. Again, continuing to apply that pressure.
Yeah, great base running there. Ball was in the dirt and skipped away, so it looked like, you know, she was going to get there easily, but really good job being aggressive, getting another runner into scoring position.
Here's the 1-2. That's high out of the zone. Ball 2. You know, Jillian played a little bit early, looked good, kind of lost her spot for a little bit, came in for Edwards, who was hurt at 3rd, and, well, she is starting to really come on as well. She has become a very big part of the ball games for them recently as she hits that one into center field, and Elder trips, but Elder is able to make the catch for the 3rd out. Ballard that time flies out, but she's been a big part of what the Cowgirls have been able to do. The Cowgirls lead it 6-0. And listen, the fans have showed out and made this a really special place. This is one of the premier places in the country right now to watch a college softball game.
And a big reason I think the Cowgirls have been so good at home. Their record has been amazing. And those bleachers in right field, like we said before, really just complete the full surroundedness that the fans are around the stadium. And just the atmosphere has been amazing here.
So the Cowgirls now have Scotland David in left. Pollard still in center, and Claire Tim is in right field. So continue that musical chairs in the outfield. And Elder will ground out, and the Cowgirls get a quick out here. By the way, congratulations to Chris Young and the Oklahoma State Cowgirl tennis team. #1 team in the country. They defeated Texas in the Big 12 championship yesterday, knocking off Texas in a very dominating fashion. 4-0 was the final there. Cowgirls remain undefeated on the season. They will host a regional. They hope to host the Super Regional. And one way or the other, they will be hosting the national championship. So the #1 team in the country continuing their domination through the Big 12 yesterday. Cowgirl softball dominating Texas Tech so far in this series. There's one that's going to be driven into left center, and that's going to be a double for Reagan Jennings. Took that one and made a nice drive on the ball.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there by Jennings. This pitch is lower on the outer half, and she does exactly what she's supposed to do with that pitch. Take it opposite field into the left center gap and get this inning started with a double and get some momentum going for Texas Tech.
Cowgirls have out-hit Tech 5-3 so far. That one's hit squarely into left field. That one could be trouble. It is. It's a home run. And it's a 2-run shot by the shortstop, Abby Orrick, who send it just over the left field wall, and the ball game is now 6-2. That was not very far off of that top of that wall, but that's a great job by Oric to drive that ball all the way through.
Yeah, this ball was smoked over the fence, and Ivy Rosenberry maybe leaving that drop ball a little bit over the plate, and the shortstop Oric able to absolutely drive that ball right over the fence.
Not much Scotland David could do. She kind of turned a little awkwardly, but that ball, as you said, it left the bat quickly. And 6-2, and all of a sudden getting hit pretty good here is Ivy Rosenberry, but this time Armijo will fly out to right field for second out of the inning. And that'll bring up the catcher, Kennedy Kreitz. 1 for 1. She's got a single, couple of home runs on the season. Again, Texas Tech trying to crawl back into this ball game. They've out hit the Cowgirls 5-4. Another one hit squarely, but this time Jillian Pollard is there for the third out. So, quick inning, ground out, fly outs, but a double and a home run. And Texas Tech is on the board. It's 6 now. They're calling the games. Have you?
I haven't.
I'm a little offended.
Me too.
They did not invite our talents to go down there and enjoy. Tell you what, it is a great tournament. Of course, the national championship is down there as well, and it's a great week. High-level softball, you're going to see some of the best teams right now. 3 of the top 6 teams in the country will be there, plus a lot of really other good teams. Kansas was receiving votes coming into the weekend, and this team in Texas Tech has got some really good wins. There's a good AB for the Cowgirls. Talon Edwards, she'll start the bottom of the 4th with a single. Makes her 1 for 2 with a sac bunt on the day. And Caroline Wong, it's been a while. Caroline's kind of due. It's not like she's not been productive, but she's not had that wow moment in a while, and she's always capable of unleashing one of those. Off speed, pitched her backwards in there for a strike. So we've seen 5 home runs from Oklahoma State, 1 home run now from Texas Tech in this matchup. Count evens at 1-1 there. Cowgirls been in their orange uniforms most of the weekend. Some combination today going with the black and the white. Were you big on uniforms? Did it change how you felt, how you played?
A little bit. I always liked the uniform that the Cowgirls are wearing right now. They call it the Stormtrooper. Actually, wait, I think that one's called Reverse Oreo, actually, because it's white, black, white, and then the Stormtrooper is the all-white. But, yeah, I don't know. Some of the uniforms, some of them fit a lot better than others, and that part is what really gets me. Like, I always want to feel like I look good, play good. So
look good, play good, they pay good. That's what you need to know. In today's world, that's exactly right. And little Deion Sanders. Not nearly enough Deion Sanders reference in the world anymore, or maybe a little bit too much. That one is going to drift foul, and coming on is the third baseman, Love, but she heeled it, and it bounced out of her glove. Had it, but it hit off the heel of her glove and then just came out. So new life for Caroline Wong. Wong comes from an extremely talented family as she hits that one foul the other way. Caught 4 no-hitters, which tied most for the program history when she was at Liberty. But her father, John, played a 10-year NFL career with the Eagles, the Jets, and the Ravens. Won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. Her mother, Jenny, was a gymnast at Auburn. Her sister played softball at Chattanooga. Her grandfather, Richard, played 6 years in the NFL with the San Diego Chargers and the Buffalo Bills. I mean, goodness, it's a talented family.
it only makes sense that Caroline Wong was destined to become an amazing softball player.
Absolutely.
Just in the genes.
Yep, I mean, she is obviously all of that. She's having a good bat here. Count goes full, but she fouls off a couple and forcing Maddie Wright to work in the circle right now. Three-two. That one's going to be hit to second. Going to try to turn two, and she's there in time to avoid the double play. So she will reach on a fielder's choice, but there'll be one gone. And it's close at first, but I think she got there.
A nice defensive play by the second baseman Jennings to quickly get that ball over her shortstop. That's a tough play to get a double play on, though, because second baseman kind of has to turn and make that awkward throw over to second, but they did a great job. It was close at first, but Caroline Wong able to beat that out.
That'll bring up Carly Godwin, who has hit 3 home runs in her last 5 at-bats. Today, she had a single and a walk. That's not true. She had 3 consecutive home runs at one point. Had a couple of non-home run swings in game 2. Trying to give her a little more credit than even she deserves, but she does deserve a ton. Single and a walk so far today. Runner at first, that's Caroline Wong, and the umpire gets a refill on softballs, and we resume. A lot of foul balls today. Maddie Wright in relief of Rancy Willis. Throws that one off the plate. Day 3 series has been won by Oklahoma State. The Cowgirls want to get the sweep, continue their ascension in the rankings, and certainly hold their position in the standings, as that's going to be a little pop out to short. And for Texas Tech, this is a resume win if they can find a way to win this one.
Definitely. This is one of those wins that Coach Snyder, I think, was talking about. We just need to steal a couple of more big wins, and then they'll feel very confident going into the selection show, because their RPI already looks pretty good, but if they could get a few more high RPI wins, they'll be really set well going into that.
It's kind of crazy. Both teams have lost RPI standings this weekend. Kind of unique to see that. Texas Tech's had a really good RPI, and so you would think that Oklahoma State, having beaten them a couple of times, would have benefited from that, but they have not. And because of the losses, Texas Tech has dropped in the RPI a little bit.
Yeah, I think it also just depends a lot on what's happening with the other teams in the top of the RPI, and we have seen some interesting losses so far, so maybe that factors into it a little bit.
We have indeed, as Rosie Davis grounds out, and we're done through 4. Cowgirls leading. So the looking at this, 2, 4, 6, 7 teams in the top 37, and that is in that at-large range right there. So got to give this league credit. They have played a really good schedule. They have had good results. And as a league, that's what you want, because every time you play another team in your league, you want to benefit from that and not be on the wrong side of a team that doesn't carry a good RPI. So this league is very strong, and it's exactly what Coach Snyder told us. Top to bottom, this league is really good.
Yes, and we should definitely expect to see a lot of these teams getting a chance at the end of the year, possibly getting an at-large bid into the regionals, and it's really good for the conference to see that. So many teams getting in and having a good RPI, having a hard schedule just means so much.
The 0-2 pitch to Maddie Wright, who hit into that double play earlier. Again, now pitching for Texas Tech as well. Started out as the 9-hole hitter and the designated player for the game, but now pitching as well. And Ivy Rosenberry stays in the circle for Oklahoma State. She got hit pretty hard at the end of that last inning, but she comes out for the 5th.
Yeah, Coach Carrie Eberly and Coach G, I think, have the utmost confidence in Ivy Rosenberry to go back out there, even after she got hit kind of hard last inning, to go back out there, shut it down. You know, maybe she's trying to work through some adjustments and get her pitches going a little bit better in this inning.
Cowgirls playing the shift again a little bit, at least at center they are. A little bit of a shade in right, but obviously Pollard is well to her right on the right side of the second base bag. And that's why right there as they hit it over. Great job by Claire Tim, who comes on and makes the underhanded catch.
This ball was tailing down towards the right field line. Claire Tim gets a great jump on it, able to make that catch. Claire Tim has just been working so hard this season in the outfield. She kind of started her career at Oklahoma State on the dirt and then, you know, needed to make that change to the outfield to see some more playing time. And she's one of the most solid outfielders on this team and just really stepped up.
Has played all three outfield positions, right? We've seen her in left, we've seen her in center, and certainly we've seen her in right. Very versatile. That brings up Kaylee Wyckoff, who takes the strike there, 1 for 2 and a single. Batting .429. Lets that one fly by. Texas Tech 6-4, but Texas Tech did get the 2 RBI home run in the last half inning, which gives them a chance. If they can get a couple more here, find themselves down by just a couple going into the last couple of innings. So, again, that last one is exactly what we talked about. Just give yourself a chance. And they finally put up a 0 for Oklahoma State. It's been a while. The Cowgirls had 11 consecutive innings of scoring, and finally Texas Tech got off the field without allowing a run.
I agree. Texas Tech definitely not out of this game yet. They can keep putting up zeros and get some runners on and things going. Their offense can put runs up, so definitely not out of it.
Ground out here, Wyckoff right back to Rosenberry. And both of the Cowgirl starting pitchers, very good defenders.
Definitely, and they work on that so much. They work on it every day, fielding their positions. And, you know, as drop ball pitchers, they need to do that. They need to be able to get off of the mound, I guess, out of the circle, and field those balls and make those plays for themselves to only help their ERA.
.353 hitter in Ariana Villa, the left fielder, struck out and walked so far today. You know, it is funny. When a non-softball person calls it the mound, everybody makes fun. When it's a softball person who says it, it's just what it is. So you being a softball person, you could say on the mound. If those who maybe hadn't played it, when you say, they're like, they don't even know what sport they're calling.
I know. I just feel like it's a figure of speech. And, like, as soon as you pointed that out one time, I was like, oh, I got to stop saying that.
Listen, ton of softball people, true softball people, call it the mound all the time. This tells you how closely related baseball and softball is, but it is a different sport. There are some intricate things that are different about the two sports, and again, the pace of this game is what has really lent itself to be one of the fastest growing sports in the country, and a great game to watch on television. Certainly a great game to come and enjoy at the ballpark as well. Count here to Villa is full with 2 gone, nobody on. Trying to get a 2-out rally here. And Ivy tried to close things out as that one is going to tail away from Pollard. Good effort right there, but that's going to be a double for Villa as it just was a line shot that tailed away into the wind away from the center fielder.
Yeah, Villa takes a great swing on this pitch and drives it in the left center gap. Like you said, it was tailing to the left a little bit, but Jillian Poulard, a great effort. Villa hits a lot of balls to opposite field. Just drove that one into the gap.
So there's the 2-out rally potentially the Texas Tech is looking for. And even one run would keep this game close and keep them within striking distance as Love takes the strike. 0 for 1 with a walk. 12 home runs, though, on the year. Now 24 on the year for Texas Tech. She has half of their total. It's that one into the gap as well, and they're going to try to score the run, the throw, and the ball is kicked by Villa. That's going to allow Love to get to second. Now a throw to third, and she's safe there as well. So Love drives in the run and finds herself safe at third as we take a look at this one.
A lot happening on that play. Love able to get this ball through the 5-6 hole, and Scotland David out there in left. Just not quite enough gas on that throw, I would say. It was on the money, but if she could have one-hopped it in there, I think Caroline Wong would have had a good shot on that tag. But
and
good aggressive base running, too, to third base.
Bloodworth over there covering on third. Couldn't quite get the handle on the ball. Probably wouldn't have made the tag anyway, as Love is in there safely. So it scored a single, an RBI single. That makes it 6-3. And again, just what we talked about, staying within striking distance. 6 hits for both teams. And that brings up Demi Elder, the center fielder. She's grounded out a couple of times today. And there's Lexi Kilfoyle, who is now up and getting some work in there, along with Kyra Aycock. So the Cowgirls getting themselves some options here to potentially close this out as Wong comes out to have a conversation. It may be an opportunity to let Lexi get a little more time in the circle. Very, very quick start. Got the line out and the ground out, but then a double followed by a single has given Texas Tech an extra run and a runner at third. Here's the 0-1. That's in there for a strike. Oh-2 here, and Rosenberry is really drawing back and throwing some gas right now. I mean, I'm with you. I'd love to have a gun on that to know where she's hitting, because it's going to be 71, 72 maybe. I mean, she is bringing it. Here's the 1-2. A slow roller to Godwin. Godwin picks it up, makes the tag, misses the tag. There. Oh. Okay, I'm not sure what we just saw there. He said safe, then he said out, so she did get the tag. And we'll take a look at it as we go to break. Either way, Texas Tech scores one. It's 6-3 here in Stillwater. Close play at first. Never got to first. There it is.
I got the cabin for 3 days. It's going to be sweet. What? I'm 12 hours short.
Have a fun weekend.
Down to Houston. They will get ready for the Cougars on the road. Then they will host Texas for a 3-game series. And then they get ready for that Big 12 championship we were talking about just a little bit ago with that May 8th start down in Oklahoma City. So 2 Big 12 series left, albeit one against a very, very tough Houston team that can put up a lot of runs. And certainly Texas, which is capable of doing the same thing. That'll be a very tough series as well, as the Cowgirls' first pitch, strikeout or a ground out over there to Jennings, and one gone quickly here for the Cowgirls in the bottom of the 5th.
I think that Texas series will also be a good opportunity for the Red Raiders to get a high RPI win under their belt and try to, just prove to the selection committee one last time that they belong in the postseason.
It's part of the reason why the Big 12 tournament's so big too, right? If you could beat Texas one, maybe 2, maybe get the series win against Houston, all of a sudden you're 3-3 in your last Big 12 series, plus go win 1 or 2 down in Oklahoma City, and all of a sudden the resume starts to come together very well, as Michaela Wark doubled her last time up and was swinging for the fences there. 1-1 with 1 gone. Claire Tim grounded out to second. Michaela Wark, the designated player, fouls that one out of play. 1-2. Wright still in the circle. Maddie Wright started game 2, lasted an inning and 2/3, gave up 5 hits and 7 earned runs, 8 overall. Has come in here since the second, has done a good job of keeping the Cowgirls a little bit in check, certainly the last inning and a half. 1-2 here to Michaela Wart coming up. Did not go around. And the Texas Tech fans, much chagrin, not happy with the no call there.
Great pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
There. Yeah. Using her off speed. It kind of falls off the table a little bit, comes in knee height, and then just dips down.
Wark fouls that one off. Giving chase is Villa, but too far up against the wall over there. So the count will stay 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Big gap up the middle. Up and out of the zone, 3-2. Professional ball, you're still playing. And when do you get to return back to UA?
Well, it's actually AU.
That's what I meant. AAU is exactly right.
Yeah, I think this season.
Tomato.
Right. No, for sure.
That one is hit into center fielder. Elder gets called off by Armijo for out number 2. So a little flare out there into right. But no, professional ball, you're still playing and you're still training and you will be playing again this summer, right?
Yes, I am hoping to play again this summer. I believe the season gets started in June, and yeah, it'll be a fun season. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely had a lot of time to train here and get ready for the season, and it's been a lot of fun.
Lexi McDonald in next for the Cowgirls with 2 outs. But if the Cowgirls do advance along the way, you're going to stay with the team all the way through the season,
yes,
right?
Yes, definitely.
Hopefully this Cowgirl team will find its way back to Oklahoma City for the 5th consecutive year. Texas Tech would like to find their way into a regional and make a run deep in postseason as well. The team's got a lot of work to do between now and then. The 0-1 to McDonald. Off speed, out in front, and fouled down the first base side for strike 2. Cowgirls, a couple of Big 12 series as well coming up. We'll talk about their remaining schedule. Just a couple of the top teams left in the conference. 0-2 inside. As we have seen in all 3 games this weekend, the wind a huge factor to start, and it just kind of tapers away. Not much of a wind right now here at Cowgirl Stadium. The 1-2 misses 2-2. 2 across the boards, both teams with 6 hits. Cowgirls on top 6-3. And a third strike call at the knees on Lexi McDonald. Didn't care for it, but the Cowgirls will go back on the defensive side. We'll try to close this out for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Lexi Kilfoyle, just a leader for this Oklahoma State team. She's very calm and composed on the mound. She's going to throw a fastball, drop ball, and curveball. She throws those very hard in the upper 60s, and then she also has a really effective off-speed pitch. She's just great at pounding the zone, keeping runners off the bases, limiting the walks.
Terrific outing by Ivy Rosenberry. Again, leaves with a 3-run lead, and she threw a total of 8 scoreless innings against Texas Tech, and initially gave up a couple of runs in the 4th here and 1 in the 5th. So they did get her for a few runs in the 9th and 10th innings that she pitched, but it was really good, and Lexi Kilfoyle will try to close it out for Oklahoma State. 0-1 pitch coming up to Reagan Jennings, the second baseman. Got that double her last time up. That one is fouled back, and ahead in the count quickly is Kilfoyle 0-2. 1 for 2, batting .362 on the season. The Great crowd on a beautiful afternoon here in Stillwater. Foul tip in and out of the glove of Wong, so Jennings will stay alive here.
Yeah, and they saw Lexi Kilfoyle on Friday night, and we've mentioned that they did have a lot of good at-bats early in that game. They were making Lexi Kilfoyle throw a lot of pitches, not swinging that ton of balls, barreling up some pitches just right at the defense. They did put up 3 runs, so it'll be interesting to see how they kind of adjust after seeing Ivy Rosenberry the past game and a half, and then coming back to Lexi Kilfoyle, how they'll attack her today.
Yeah, very so interesting too, because the as good as they were for the first 3 innings, then Lexi Kilfoyle came in the next 3 and really did a great job. And which side of that batting order will we see? There's a throw to first. Jennings is out. Great job there by Oklahoma State. Good throw across the diamond. Good clean look. And let's take a look at the home run. Abby Orrick had a 2-run shot her last time up, and she blasted this one.
Yeah, she drove that ball, shot over the left field fence.
So this time the bases are clear, and she will hit another one into right field. Lexi McDonald back in for Oklahoma State in right field, and Orrick coming on strong as she backs up the home run with a double.
Yeah, Orrick is having a lot of success swinging early in her counts. She knows that the Oklahoma State pitchers pound the zone, so a lot of the best pitches that they see are going to be early in the count, and that pitch kind of over the middle of the plate. Orrick able to throw her bat out there, take it opposite way. Just a great piece of hitting there.
So McDonald started in right. Tim came in later. McDonald is back. And that one is a shot past the third baseman, and they're going to try to score it. Here's the throw, and not in time, and then going to be a single and an RBI for Armijo, and she will advance on the throw. So back-to-back hits for Texas Tech, and they've got themselves very much in this ball game.
A great piece of hitting there, getting it through the 5-6 hole, but I was really surprised that Coach Snyder sent his base runner there. I thought that was going to be an easy out at home plate, but the throw just not getting there in time, and the aggressive base running by Texas Tech is really paying off right now.
Yeah, so Tim is in left, then Warsop came in, David came in, and now Tim is back out there in left. And the throw, I agree with you. I thought she was going to be done for. The Cowgirls didn't cut it off. Wong, so far up the line, though, didn't feel like she could get the tag. Tried to throw it back to second, and Armijo was in there safely. So an RBI single for Armijo, and she is now at second. Again, it's a single, but advanced on the throw. And Texas Tech trails now only by 2 with 1 gone. Kennedy Kreitz, the catcher. Right back to Lexi Kilfoyle. Look the runner back. That's textbook right there by Lexi Kilfoyle. Right back at her, looked the runner back, and then went to first for the out.
I just love how casual she is about that. Like, it's so easy for her. She does not panic. She knows that she has a runner over there. She wants to check her back and then easily turn and get the out at first.
Lexi Kilfoyle is obviously a tall young lady. And I'll tell you how tall she is here coming up in just a minute. Lexi Kilfoyle is 6'2", so that reach is really good as well. And so she's able to get that high chopper right back at her and played that perfectly. Now right back to Maddie Wright, and Maddie Wright right back to Lexi Kilfoyle. Catches it off the bat for out number 3. And the Cowgirls give up the run, but they still have a 2-run lead. It's 6-4 here in Stillwater. This has turned out to be a good one on day 3. Getaway day. Put up a couple of runs and give Texas Tech credit as she, again, we're able to just chip away and continue this thing. So now Maddie Wright is still in the circle. And she will be facing Taylor Anderson, who will be pinch hitting for Oklahoma State, as she will come in for be pinch hitting for Megan Bloodworth here in the bottom of the 6th. Takes a strike there, and the count 0-2 to her. Taylor Anderson out of Dripping Springs, Texas, just a freshman. Batting .267 and 0 for 1 in the series, looking for her first hit, but her second time on the bags, as she does have a run scored as a pinch runner in this series.
Taylor Anderson is another talented freshman on the Oklahoma State roster. She's got a ton of speed. She can slap, she can bunt, she can hit. So a great time for her to come in and try to lead off this inning, try to get on base and get a really good base runner and try to, provide some more insurance runs heading into that last inning.
Just a 2-run cushion right now. Cowgirls led 6-0, but a 2-run fourth, a 1-run fifth, a 1-run sixth has gotten Texas Tech back in it, down by 2. Here's the 2-2. Anderson chops that one's right back to the pitcher, but it's a foul off of her foot. And we'll stay at 2-2. Cowgirls, I mentioned a couple of big series coming up. Kansas, Oklahoma, and a couple of midweek games left, some good regional matchups. So a lot of softball between now and the Big 12. There is a soft flare over the shortstop Oric, but she's able to turn and get to it and make the catch for out number 1. Back to the top of the order for the Cowgirls. Jillian Pollard batting first, 1 for 2. Single, walk. And popped out, take strike 1 right here, though, from Wright.
Wright so far has been picking up a little momentum for herself, using her off speed a lot in these last few innings and throwing off the Cowgirls, disrupting their timing a little bit.
Again, there way out front by Pollard, and 0 for 2. It's amazing just how one-day difference. Maybe your stuff is just different in the circle, and even for Lexi Kilfoyle, within the ballgame, first 3 innings of game 1, not as good as it typically is. Innings 4, 5, and 6 were very, very good, but this looks like a different Maddie Wright in the circle right now than what we saw to start game 2.
I would have to agree. Yesterday in her outing, the Cowgirls just super aggressive, put on a ton of runs quickly. But today, she's been holding them off the last few innings and really giving her offense a chance in this game to fight and try to get a win. 3
1/3. That one's hit to first. Wyckoff able to glove it and get the out for out number 2. So now through 3 2/3, she's given up 3 hits, no runs, 1 strikeout so far on the day as we take a look at the play made by Wyckoff.
Yeah, nice snag over there by Wyckoff, moving to her forehand side, and she slides, gloves that one. Really good play over there.
Yeah, she's a lefty. So as you said, that was the forehand side and gloved it and was able to race back to first for the outs. That'll bring up Talon Edwards. She's 1 for 2 today. Cowgirls, you talked about, would love to get some insurance runs. Going to be tough now with 2 outs. Here's Talon Edwards again, really using that off speed. That's been sitting there, and all of a sudden now, one time through, that's kind of how she's starting almost every at bat, with at least one of the first 2 pitches with the off speed.
She's commanding that pitch very well, getting it for a strike, but also able to throw it lower in the zone too, to kind of give a different eye level and then, bring in something hard. And just a really good mix by her right now and having a great outing, I think, so far today.
For sure she is. She's retired 7 consecutive batters. Has only given up 1 single, and that was to Edwards in the 4th inning. Cowgirls have not been able to hit her hard as of yet. 2-2 off speed. That one's up, and the count will go full. Good job by Talon Edwards to stay away from that one. Red Raiders hanging around in this one as that one is hit foul into the crowd. Again, another off speed that had Edwards way out in front of it. See if she comes back and tries to get one by her here. Got her set up pretty well for a fastball here. Here's the 3-2, and it is a fastball, but it's ball 4. So that's the first walk issued by Maddie Wright since she's made her second appearance in the series. Gave up a single and a fielder's choice, retired everyone between that moment and the Talon Edwards walk just a second ago, and that brings up Caroline Wong.
Number 66, Caroline Wong.
Said earlier she was due. Well, she's even more due now. She reached on a fielder's choice her last time up. Starts out 1-0 here. Due up Godwin, Davis, and Tim. Off speed, out of the zone. Gone to the well an awful lot with that off speed. Let's see if she continues to stay there. It is Maddie Wright. Thrown 67 pitches so far, and that one just misses. 3-0. Again, Wong's 0 for 3. You're behind to her 0-3, or 3-0 rather, excuse me. Do you want to go after her?
I would say yes. I would say 100%, especially with Carly Godwin next in line. You know, you want to try to attack her.
And maybe she was hoping she would chase one. She did not, and that's ball 4. And here's exactly what you were talking about. By issuing that walk now, you've got to face Carly Godwin. Godwin has been so effective, and her effectiveness had come by the way she's left the park. Swinging the ball very well, or bat very well.
Exactly. Started that out in game 1, and then game 2 followed with 2 more just monster home runs. Every time she swings the bat, if she connects, it just flies off her bat.
Power hitter. Cowgirls have scored 40+% of their runs this season from home runs, and Sophie Page will be a pinch runner for the Cowgirls. They just continue to be so incredibly impressive. As a team, they've hit 71 home runs this season, good for 3rd on the single season list. The record is 93, set by the 21 Cowgirls. And 2nd, owned by the 2019 Cowgirls, which had 82. 70 home runs this season, currently 5th in the nation and 2nd in the Big 12. And could add to that here. Out of the zone. So, again, it goes back to what we've talked about, right? You could walk them, and you could load them up with Godwin and be very careful here, but that just sets you up with Rosie Davis, who's drawn a couple of walks, and she's a home run threat. Just no soft spot in this lineup for Oklahoma State as that one hits the outer edge for a called strike.
Exactly, and you just really don't want to put more runners on, especially in the bottom of the 6th inning, and you want to keep it as close as you can for your offense heading into the top of the 7th.
Now, 2 is not insurmountable. 4, 5, 6, all of a sudden it becomes insurmountable as that one is fouled just out of the way. Officer Davis down there trying to catch that. Chris Young, the head coach of the Cowgirl tennis team, whose #1 team in the country, just beat Texas in the Big 12 championship. Had a chance to get 2 hands on it. He calls himself an athlete, and I question that now. 1-2. 2-2. Caroline Wong at first. Actually, Sophie Page in pinch running for her. Couple of walks to get to Carly Godwin, who seems to be eyeballing McElroy.
Yeah, and so far today, we've seen the walks have kind of just been killer for Texas Tech. Looking at my chart right now, we have 5 walks that have all scored, and
Wow.
Texas Tech out hitting Oklahoma State 8-6.
There's a soft spot over to Oric, and so they do get Godwin to ground out, and they get out of trouble. So Texas Tech down by 2. They've got one more opportunity. We go to the top of the 7th. This is Big 12 now on E. Series coming up as well. Midweek first with North Texas, a great regional rivalry for Oklahoma State. Then they take on Kansas. On that staff, Rich Willigman, former head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, at UT Arlington, and then at Oklahoma to wrap up some 4 straight games on the road before they will travel to Oklahoma City. Get ready for that Big 12 championship May 8th. Cowgirls looking to host a regional. They too would love to host a super regional before returning back to Oklahoma City. So good schedule coming up here for Oklahoma State for sure. As Macy Graff is now in left field for Oklahoma State. Lexi Kilfoyle still continuing and ready to go here with Kaylee Wyckoff, who will lead things off. There's a shot of Macy Graff. By the way, Kaylee Wyckoff left this nugget for this point in the series. Not only Big 12 Freshman of the Year, reigning Big 12 Freshman of the Year, also earned Reserve Grand Champion chickens as a member of Katy High School's Future Farmers of America organization, and just tells you how well-rounded that young lady is. Were you ever in FFA?
I was not. I actually didn't even know that existed until like a couple of days ago. Someone else was talking about it, and I was like, what even is that?
Hey, Reserve Grand Champion. So
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
that's
listen,
awesome.
that's right. Anytime it's doesn't matter what you're showing it. If you get that far up, you've done something good. FFA, a great program. And Wyckoff gets the count even at 2-2. Tyler said he wasn't expecting that nugget. Well, you don't get a chicken nugget out of showing a grand champion chicken. You continue to, you don't let them turn into nuggets. That one is hit and flared into right field, and I'm glad I got it in when I could as Claire Tim comes on, and there's out number 1 in the top of the 7th inning.
And that's a big out, too, getting Kaylee Wyckoff, who's been such a good hitter for the Texas Tech offense, so good at kind of sparking some run production in the top of the lineup, and to get her out, get that first out, that's huge in this inning.
Yeah, they do have the top of the order up here, and so the first one goes down and it brings up the left fielder, Ariana Villa. Has been trying to help her team out here today. The strikeout, but then a walk and a double. And she was able to score back in the 5th. And ahead of the count here, 2-0. And if you're Texas Tech, you want base runners, right? You want a chance to tie this game up. As 3-0 the count now, and you could bring the tying run to the plate if Villa is able to draw the walk, and that brings up a big home run threat in Riley Love behind her. Excuse me, I thought the count was 3-0. They moved it back to 2-1. Now 2-2 on the called strike there. No, it is 3-1. Yeah, the umpire just, the scoreboard got it wrong, and now I should have just trusted my gut, and I didn't. 3-1, now 3-2 as Villa fouls that one off, and the important thing is that Lexi Kilfoyle and Ariana Villa knew what the count was. 2 strikes to change your approach as a hitter. certainly in this situation.
Yeah, definitely. You just really want to be sure to protect the play and not leave it up to the umpire.
And she tries to do that there. Bloodworth throws, but brings Carly Godwin off the bag. And so Ariana Villa does get on base, and that does bring the tying run to the plate with Riley Love.
Yeah, this is a tough play for a shortstop, moving to your backhand side. She does a good job getting her feet in front of that, but really has to rush the throw with the speed of Villa down the line and just a hair off. But normally such a sure-handed shortstop.
And we've got a timeout. We may have a pinch runner for Coach Snyder. He'll come and talk it over, and we'll see what that goes. For Riley Love, she went 0 for 3 in Game 1. Riley Love went 0 for 1 in Game 2. Today, she is 1 for 2 with a walk, and she has an opportunity to really help this team out. 12 home runs on the season. She has half of the home runs scored by Texas Tech, and they're not thinking necessarily home run right here, but they are thinking that keep this rally going and give yourself a chance. She represents as Logan Holloman will be the pinch runner. Riley Love, the third baseman. That one's off the plate. Seeing if she would chase one there, and Lexi Kilfoyle will step to the back of the circle and regroup. Swung on that one into left field, and Macy Graff able to make the play and will hold the runner at first, and that's another big out for Lexi Kilfoyle in Oklahoma State.
Definitely. I thought off the bat, that ball sounded good. I thought maybe it had a shot to get close to the wall, but good job by Macy Graff out there making that out. Another huge out, like you said. Riley Love, such a good, powerful hitter for Texas Tech.
And that's, again, you don't make that decision to put Graff out there if she can't handle that. That's a fantastic play by her, and that's, again, there's some trust in her to handle that, and that's a big out for Oklahoma State. Going to bring up Demi Elder, the center fielder, runner on, so the tying run is still at the plate, and still a chance here for Texas Tech. We're down to the final 2 strikes potentially. Misses ball 1. No midweek games for Texas Tech, just Big 12 games. We showed that schedule. That's kind of interesting for them. Cowgirls still have a couple. Here's the pitch inside, and Elder stays off of it. Elder, a junior out of League City, Texas, Clear Springs High School. Lexi Kilfoyle, 2-1 count coming up here. There's a changeup, had her way out in front, got her full on that front leg, and it's 2-2. It's a good pitch.
Yeah, and Lexi Kilfoyle uses her off speed so effectively. She can throw that pitch in any count. And when that pitch is on, she's super hard to hit because she just commands it very well.
Hard to make that decision. That one is hit into left field, and the Red Raiders stay alive with the 2-out single by Elder. 2 out, 2 on. And the communication going on between Lexi Kilfoyle and the infield plus the outfield, and again, you would never know if she's up by 50 or down by 50.
Exactly, and Coach Snyder, when we talked to him, he really emphasized the fight in his team, and we're really seeing that right now. These last few innings, they have not gone down easily, and they've been making things happen, getting runners on, and definitely fighting.
And that was the thing, and I know obviously after a couple of run rule losses, maybe not the best time to bring up what Coach is talking about, but he told us that the thing that he loves about his team is, you said, the fight. And I said to him, tell us a story we don't know. Tell us an underdog story that would be kind of fun to tell, that, some kid that you just can't keep off the field, or, what's a good story? He said, the story of this team is that these kids just keep developing over every position. Everywhere you look, we're developing, and we're fighting, and we're finding ways. And they're certainly trying to do that here on Game 3 of this series, as they have made this one a highly entertaining ball game. Coach Snyder's done a great job, and that's the thing he's loved about his team, is that character of fight, and they've shown it here in Game 3. And that one is hit to Rosie Davis. The fight may be over, and it is. Rosie Davis makes the play. Lexi Kilfoyle makes the pitch, and the Cowgirls complete the sweep. Great job fighting by Texas Tech. Great job by Oklahoma State finishing the deal and getting the 3-game sweep.